All right. Hi, guys. This is KJ from For Life Coaching. I'm here today just to talk about, wait, I'm so sorry.
I got excited.
Okay, sometimes there's a delay in it, so I'm just going to wait a few seconds because if I start talking, it'll be like this black screen. Hi, guys. It's KJ from For Life Coaching. I'm here today talking to a former NCAA athlete about success, triumph, the different pathways that he's gone through to get to where he is today. And he has a phenomenal story. The person I'm speaking with today is Antoine Calloway. He is a fireman. So he is a first responder. Let me tell you a little bit about him and his football career. So first of all, Antoine in high school, right? He played in high school at Mecklenburg. Am I right?
South Mecklenburg, yep.
South Mecklenburg High School. Okay, yeah, because I know there's that rivalry with the different Mecklenburgs, right?
Yes,
right?
it is. Yes, it is. Okay. You gotta make sure you get it right.
Yes. That's like I went to Parsippany High and Parsippany Hills, but we won't talk about the other school anyway. So he went to South Mecklenburg High. South Mecklenburg High. He please forgive me. He won first team all conference, first team all county, and first team all state. But before he did for the state of North Carolina, but before that, I want to mention that when he was 8 years old, he played for the Police Athletic League. He played baseball, basketball, and football for all three. So he went on from there to high school, and from high school he went on to college. He played for North Carolina Central University. Go Eagles, right?
Yes,
Give me a little eagle. Give me a little eagle wing. Come on, look it up. Look it up.
Throw it high. You can't see it. I got my other hand up, but we throw it high. We look up in the sky. You always see an eagle flying higher than everybody else.
All right, now I knew. I live in the area, so that's all I see is the eagles and the wings.
Yes.
So he is a North Carolina Central University alumni. He is a CIAA honorable mention. He played varsity all 3 years of college, and he actually was a team captain. Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay. So then from there, he proceeded on to the Arena Football League. Am I correct?
I am. I played 3 years of semi-pro football where I led the league 2 years in a row.
Yes. You led the league. You scored 1,462. I have it somewhere here. Yeah. Gosh, I messed up my cards. 1,462 yards. You scored over 1,000 yards in one season, and you received over 100 passes.
Yes, correct.
Right?
My rookie year, I had 93 catches. My second year, I had 111 catches in arena football.
And I wrote that down on my cards, and I can't find. Hey guys, I'm telling you, my cheat sheets. I have these little cards all over the place and everything, and I'm like, okay, I cannot find it. But then he went on to play for. He went on to the Canadian League, right?
Yeah.
And you played for. Gosh, why can't I find that card? Okay, well, you went on to play for the. Please tell me.
I wasn't sure if I was supposed to help out or not.
Yeah, you can help me out.
Charleston Firecats.
Charleston Firecats. Yes. I must have mixed up my cards because I really cannot find it. Okay, you played.
Keep on going. We're here.
You played for the Charleston Firecats in the Canadian League, and then you came back and you were a teacher. Am I correct?
I did. I taught for 7 years. I did 3 levels. I did child care, elementary, and high school.
Wow. Huge difference.
It takes a special person to go from teaching toddler 2s to 10-year-olds in the 5th grade who want to be grown-ups, and then go back to kindergartners who's glad to do anything on their own, and then go to high schoolers who know everything.
Yes. Let me tell you something. You are a saint, because I used to teach in Newark, New Jersey, and I was a substitute teacher. My sophomore year of college, I had 60 credits, and my mother had me start substitute teaching. And I just remember my mother taught 4th, 5th grade. So I taught at an elementary school first, and then, I did the please forgive me. I worked with the 5th graders, and I just talked back on everything. And I was like, really?
Everything.
Really? Why am I here? But then I fell in love with middle school, 7th and 8th grade. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. But because I was doing well as a substitute teacher, they asked me to teach the kindergarten class one time, right? One time. I want to never go back again. Oh my God, they're so beautiful and they're so adorable. But everybody wants to hug. Everybody wants to pull. And then they just walk up to you. I choose like sneeze in your face and everything. I'm like, tissue please, tissue please.
When you're their teacher, you're their teacher. It's like they don't want to share. You're theirs. They do belong. They want to be all in your space.
And everybody wants a compliment. Everybody wants to be the best at something, which I don't mind, because I even do that with my middle school kids. I give them that boost, that validation to make sure that they have that self-efficacy and can do whatever needs to be done. But with the little ones, it's like continuously like on and on and on and on. But it was a great experience. I thank and praise God for that, but I am not a kindergarten teacher. I know that for sure. So from there you went on to administration. Am I correct?
I did 7 years of high school administration dealing with discipline and behavior at a charter school here in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay. And then from there, you decided to follow your dream.
I decided to chase my other dream, and that was to be a Charlotte firefighter.
Wow. Wow. Well, I do want to talk about you chasing your dream.
Yes, ma'am.
But I wanted to ask you with football, because that's where it all started. Football, basketball, baseball. How did you know football was the one? What made you say this is it?
I could say my favorite player in all the sports was Tony Dorsett of the Dallas Cowboys in the 70s and the 80s.
That was my big crush.
Really?
And then I found out he's my cousin somewhere along the way, so I don't know. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, we got to use your family ties so I can meet him in person, man. But yeah, he was my favorite player of the Dallas Cowboys, and I just knew that I wanted to play football. No matter how good I was in the other sport, football was going to be it.
Wow. So I thought I read that Shannon Sharp and Irvin, what's his name? Michael Irvin were your heroes.
They are also Jerry Rice. But I ended up playing wide receiver. I didn't play running back like Tony Dorsett, but a couple of years I ended up becoming a wide receiver. So those three are wide receivers that I just called out: Jerry Rice, Michael Irvin, and Shannon Sharp.
Okay. So what was the play? What was the play that made you say, like, I got this? I know I heard I can. Wait, it was something.
We actually had a play called Calloway Special, and it was
really.
Yes. Nobody ran it but me when I was on the team.
And when was this?
This is in college.
This is in college?
North Carolina Central, my junior and senior year, that was my play.
Do they still have it?
I don't know. It's different coaching. They've been through their coaches now, so it may be a little different now, but I'm sure my teammates still remember it.
But when they did the Callaway, you knew it was on and popping, and it was
automatic. That's an automatic touchdown. In my college rival against North Carolina A&T, I scored 3 touchdowns on the same play.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. So you got your mojo, you got your flow, you're in college, you're playing football and etc. Are you thinking about playing in the pros?
That's an automatic. I think every college football player, the closer they get to their senior years, the more they want to play the sport for money and become a professional. Now, realistically, it doesn't happen, but yeah, that was my dream.
What would you say? Most of them get a shot, or most of them go to the tryouts, or?
I can truly say now you can get a tryout. It may not be on their campus because they have pro day where pros come to your college and check you out as a senior in college. I'm sorry. And you get a chance to show what you got there. So that's your biggest chance. I do remember that.
Okay. And so at Pro Day, what happens? Was a team looking at you on Pro Day? Or one of the teams looking at you?
I actually had Kansas City Chiefs seemed like they were pretty interested at the time, but I didn't get a draft pick. But it was nice to know that somebody actually was talking about you with a little bit of attention on you. So I think the biggest thing that they wanted was me to be faster. I had the size, but they wanted fast.
Okay. So how did you know that they were talking about you? They said something to the coach?
Yes, and I led the league in receptions, which is the biggest thing you can do at wide receiver in a college. I was the number 1 receiver my senior year in the league.
So when they told you that you were the number 1 receiver that you had a chance of going to the pros, you're all hyped up, and then Kansas City comes, they're interested in you. What are you doing? Are you waiting by the phone for the next call? Are you waiting?
Well, I actually was stepped up my training game, trying to make sure I was in the best shape of my life, and ready for any and everything that could possibly be thrown at you as a professional football player. Didn't know what it took, but I knew it took more than what it does to be a college. As you can see, a lot of college athletes go to the pros, but they don't last.
So what does stepping up your game look like?
A little bit more concentration on your craft, meaning more hours, more time in it, more when you don't want to do it, that's when you do it even more. Getting up, doing a little bit more training, eating better than what you've ever eaten in your life, and making sure that you are in tip-top shape.
What are you sacrificing? What are you giving up? What did you give up?
I would say free time. Because if you had free time, you was doing something towards getting to your goal. College, your senior year, I only needed 8 credits to graduate. So I was ahead of the game. So I didn't have much schoolwork to do. So it was like I had a lot of free time. You had to adjust yourself and put your focus on where you actually wanted to. It looked like everybody was having fun because they wasn't doing what I was about to do. So I was sacrificing free time and being able to be just a college senior.
And so when did you realize that opportunity might not come? That you might not go to Kansas?
You wouldn't believe it that my birthday is usually the draft weekend every year. Every year the draft is on my birthday weekend. So it was like, it was too good to be true that I would have been picked on my birthday weekend. So, when you go through the rounds and they say possibility of free agency, it doesn't happen too often, but they do give shots. All you do is try to keep hope alive, as they say.
What did you do after that? So the draft happens. You hear the last name picked, or the last team picks.
Well, that's when you find out about your supporting cast, who lets you know it's not over with. It's okay. You still have a possibility of getting there. Different route is usually what are you looking at then. Everybody doesn't get drafted. Opportunity comes whenever you have a chance, and just to be ready for it.
What did you do?
Stay focused. My reality mindset now, I do not have imagination, so I'm a realist now. And something like that will probably really help you figure out about staying on top of your game and control what you can't control, because that's something I couldn't control. One of the biggest lessons you learn about something that doesn't go the way you want it to because it's in somebody else's hands. My phrase used to be like, whatever you do, don't put your destiny in somebody else's hands. So I did all I could do, I think.
So did you then start to look at arena and Canadian football? Did you get an agent? I mean, like, what were your...
I actually did have an agent. I had an agent located in Seattle, Washington, and he flew me and 3 of my teammates out there just to meet him and, just to give us the little whirl of the professional life. We watched a football game in Seattle, Washington, the Seattle Seahawks against the Oakland Raiders back then, and it was awesome. So I was like, it's still hope. Again, you keep hope alive and just waiting on that opportunity.
So were you like Jerry Maguire, or what's the guy's name? Show me the money. Were you cool with kids saying, show me the money?
If you think about it, it wasn't that much money back in the 90s like it is now. I mean, these guys are getting $1 million to sign their name, or $4 and $5 million just to sign their name before they even put on a person's uniform. The times have definitely changed, and just think that was actually 25 years ago since I was a senior in college.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, things have changed a lot. Things have changed a lot. A
lot more opportunities are out there too now.
And I think also the intensity is a lot greater now too. The intensity and the I don't want to say how can I put it? So the intensity is great, but also the let down seems to be so much greater. Like, it seems like when we were growing up, I'm a little older than you, but when people did not make it, they found other options, they found other avenues, other support systems, etc. And now when people don't make it, I think that there's so much hype and so much expectation in that one career opportunity until the
Yes.
letdown is so much greater. And so
Agree.
that's,
I agree with you. Like you said, we were told not to, as the old cliche goes, don't put all your eggs in one basket. And I do believe that the times have changed, the opportunities and the mindsets have changed compared to where we was. Again, I went into another career just like that 2 years later after graduating college. So it didn't slow me down, it didn't deter me, but I can only imagine if that's all I had my mind set on and how it could have really did some damage.
but what did you do during that 2-year gap? So you did not make the NFL.
I played semi-pro in Charleston, and that was
Okay.
an opportunity where a team called my college coach and asked, did he have any wide receivers or any players that should be playing on the next level? And me and my college roommate, Monte Sutherland, took the opportunity to go down and play semi-pro football in Charleston, South Carolina.
Yeah. And you know what? That is so key. If people don't know anything else, stay in touch with your coach, make buddies, do whatever you can do, because those opportunities do come afterwards. And if you burn those bridges, you may not get the call or the opportunity that you possibly could. So I know of a couple of players who, once again, because they burned the bridges with the coaches, the coaches, when those players or those outside opportunities come along and they call the coach and they say, I'm thinking about this player, the coach say, nah, I wouldn't take that player,
Yeah, you have to keep a rapport with the coaches. Again, that's supposed to be a life bond anyway. I mean, that person plays a big part of your role during your college years. That's almost like a father figure. Even some of the young coaches can be considered a big brother figure. So that's what you don't want to do is mess up your contacts. You're right.
So there's that contact up higher with the coaches, but what about with your teammates? With your teammates, do you keep in touch with any of your teammates?
I can tell you right now, if you asked anybody in North Carolina Central during the 90s, who keeps in touch with everybody the most, they would say my name.
Really?
And I think it's because I grew up by myself. My siblings are so much younger than me, and all of my teammates were my brothers.
Okay. So you've been coaching and teaching for a long time. You've been that mentor type figure for a long time.
Yes, it started actually in, my brother was born in '86. I was a 7th grader when I became a big brother, and a big brother again in March of '88. So yeah, it came pretty fast and it was nonstop.
Wow. So let me ask.
Everything.
Oh, no, go ahead. Nonstop. So, nonstop. So how many siblings do you have?
Oh no, just those two, but I've always been in their lives and making sure that we keep in touch, because again, there's such a big age gap that they're only 18 months apart, but I'm 12 and 14 years older than they are.
Yeah. So how much did the Police Athletic League help you in learning how to be a mentor and learning how to coach other people along the way?
Again, we just talked about that connect, that bond. I still remember my first 5 coaches on my very first football team, and I love them all to death. I think about 4 out of 5 are still alive with us, and I contact each one of them every chance I get just to hear their voice and let them know that they're thought about.
Wow. Yeah, that does mean a lot. My mom was a teacher, and her students, no matter what their endeavor was or whatever they ended up with in life, a lot of them would keep in touch with her 10, 15, 20 years later. And, it's so important to know that you are making a difference, or you are doing.
It's the same thing for coaches. It's like you want to make sure that you still want to please them and get their approval, letting them know that whatever they did back in the days, it meant something and it didn't go in vain.
Yeah. So when they do it, when they get it, how do you celebrate? Tell me some things you do with them to celebrate.
I actually, nowadays these guys are a little older now, so you can actually say, "Hey, let's go out for drinks." I'm not a drinker, but the fact to know that that's something that this generation likes to do, and that's how they enjoy themselves and let their hair down. Ball guy says, "Let's the hair down."
Let it blow in the wind. Let it blow in the wind.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta let it go, let it flow how it goes. But the guys, if you keep the rapport with them, they would look forward to talking to you about every big thing that they do in their lives. And again, not much older than them, but the fact that that you had a bond with them and you check up on them before they check up on you sometimes plays a big part.
Yeah, you know what? As a teacher, as a coach,
Yes.
as a friend, as a mentor, as so many other things, it's amazing how much people hold inside, right? And they're just
Yeah.
looking for that one person to let some of it out. It's like that kettle pot, that's steaming, and they just want
Yes.
one person to relate to talk to, etc. And when you want to be that person.
You're right. I think a lot of people are looking for a listening ear and a non-judgmental person.
Right.
And I know it's hard to do because we all have our own mindset of what somebody should be doing, what we think is right, what we don't think is right. But we have to remember that everybody takes their own path, and it is what it is. If it was meant to be, it's going to happen. I have a few quotes that they remember me saying because they actually real quotes. They're not something that you just say for it comes back to you. You can remember that. I still remember two things that was told to me in college. My freshman year, they said, when you're right, I'll go to war for you. But when you're wrong, you're on your own. You know what I'm saying? And that's teaching self-discipline right there. The little things that you can do, you can control what you can control and let everything else fall in place.
Yeah. I love that. And when you give people that type of power, or when you empower that way to say, hey, look, you know what? I'm going to be here for you as long as you're on the right path, or as long as you're doing what you're supposed to do. Then they know that they can go out and explore. And one of the things that I found a lot with my students is there's a great fear of failure. And I think that's because sometimes, and I think that sometimes because the person who's working with them or teaching them has one way that they perfected, right? Like I know how to go this way. And so when somebody comes in and they want to go this way, they don't need to go, make a complete right or left. They just want to go a little bit this way. It's out of the range of what they feel comfortable with or what they know. So they automatically put up the guard and they start to criticize and etc. And so now you have somebody who could have been your next inventor, your next, innovator, creative, whatever. That creativity is lost and bound in fear of failure because they don't have people who allow them to just be,
You're so
to
right.
be, to grow, to explore.
I taught a life class one semester. We tried something different in the high school setting. And they said, Mr. Calloway, you'd be the perfect person to teach this class. And I didn't know what they meant. But I guess at the end of the class, one guy said, Mr. Calloway, you're the only one to keep it real around here. I said, that's all I owe you. I don't have any favorite students. I love you all in the same way, but I know that all I owe you is that somebody to be keeping it real with you. And as they call it, keeping 100. And it really, being 100 really means something to this young generation. And if they think you stand 100, they will definitely respect you and look up to you in many different ways.
So I'm going to give you a very transparent situation. I had not planned on talking about this at all, but this is very, very transparent. So I was teaching this class, right? And this class had some kids who were a little bit rougher and some kids who were a little bit more preppy and conservative, but they were in the same exact class, right? And so the kids who were a little bit, had more challenges in life, and I would say rougher, I mean more challenges, they would come in to my classroom and they would do lunch in my classroom and they would sit and talk. And once again, it was that kind of like that exhale moment to make sure that they were ready to attend to the school lesson in the next class, right? Because if you have all this stuff going on, you can't really hear what a teacher's teaching, right?
Oh man, yes.
So these were kids that were defensive. So one day, and I would always bring granola bars or fruit chews and that kind of stuff for my kids, because some kids didn't have breakfast, some kids didn't have lunch, some kids were going home and they weren't going to have dinner. So because they weren't going to have dinner, I would give them a couple granola bars to take home or something like that. Well, anyway, in this class, there were some kids who came from very, very stable households, had a little bit more money, etc. They could do whatever they wanted. And so one day for lunch, I had some of those kids stayed in the classroom, right? And they were like, Miss Jones, we thought you only liked the other kids that act out. And I was like, no, I said, I love everybody in the class. I'm going to treat you all the same. I said, in the same way I give them snacks, I have snacks for you here in this class. It's for you too when you're here during lunch. As long as you're in here, I can give you snacks or whatever, right? And they were floored they were floored by the simple fact that I gave them attention, because usually, you know, it's people are so polarized in their thinking until they can only support kids in this area or kids in this area. And what happened is, as a result of, now I had to support them in separate environments initially, but then after initially, they were in the lunchroom together. I mean, you know, they were in my classroom together during lunch, you know, and they were supporting each other during class academically, because they had that chance or that opportunity to release and be themselves, you know, just be themselves and be transparent. And that's one of the things that that I've always prided myself in, is that I try to be someone that people can talk to freely.
Yes.
You know, so that they can move forward, because I think that we all have a genius inside of us. We all have a purpose. We all have potential. But if you're not in the right environment to encourage it, then you can wind up with, once again, like I said, that tea kettle or that teapot full of hot water ready to explode.
Yes, I enjoyed being that person, like you just said. Being that I dealt with discipline and behavior, some of the guys would be like, Mr. Calloway, we're not scared of you. I say, that's the good thing. I don't want you to be scared. I want you to be respectful and be able to know that you can come talk to me when you need to. And I think they actually listened to those words, because you couldn't imagine the people who decided to come talk to me one-on-one on their own. But they saw the consistency and they saw the genuineness in my words and realized that he doesn't have any favorites. Everybody's on the same page, and it's okay to talk to him.
I was a deaconess at my old church in New Jersey, and there were these 4 girls, right? And they were tough. They were so tough until they had this game night, and they would lock the girls out of the church. Like, they weren't allowed to come back in. And so I was a deaconess, and I was like, wait a minute. I said, we're not going to lock anybody out of the church. I said, you send them to me and I'll work with them. So I talked to the 4 girls, and my thing was, I said, look, you don't talk to the ministers because you don't know how to communicate what you want. And I told the ministers and the deacons, I said, you don't talk to them because you don't know how to, you know, relate to these young ladies to make them be the best that they can be. You're creating hostility instead of success. And just being that person in between. I mean, these young ladies went from like bullying people and like stealing sneakers and lunch money and everything like that to being to starting a babysitting club for the parents of the church and being the top requested babysitters.
You know what they was looking for? Somebody to treat them fair. At that age, it's all about fair. If they think somebody's getting treated better than them, they're gonna act out, they're gonna draw negative attention, and they'll do whatever it takes to get attention.
Exactly.
So I like that. That's pretty neat. I did the same thing. Like I said, in that classroom.
You just keep copying me. You can't do the same thing.
Hey,
you can't do the same thing anymore. You gotta do something different. No, I'm just kidding.
They say we all have a twin somewhere.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
They say we all have a twin somewhere. Maybe not looks, but in the mindset. And believe me, everybody knows that I'm a child advocate, or I'm a youngster advocate. Even at 25 years old, I still got something looking for somebody to treat them fairly, just to hear them out without being judgmental, and it plays a big part.
Yes. Yeah, I think we all are. I think we all are. I mean, we are social people. That's, you know, true. We were raised to be social. We were raised to be interdependent, you know, and support and grow with one another. So I learned that word. So let me ask you this: who heard you? Who heard you out? Who heard you out? You said everybody's looking for someone to hear them out. Who heard you out?
I had a high school coach, my senior year, Coach Randy Long. He said, "Don't you worry about nothing. I want you to go and be the best tight end you can be. Don't worry about nothing else." Because at one point I thought I wasn't a favorite of the head coach, and then you don't have to be a favorite. It depends on how your teammates treat you. It was so ironic that by the beginning of the football season, my teammates voted me team captain, and my coach Long just looked at me and winked his eye, because you don't have to be the head coach's favorite if your teammates respect you. He's got to put you in your place. He's going to put you in your leadership role because that's what you are. And I take pride in being a natural born leader. I don't have to be appointed to it. I'll turn into it regardless. And a lot of people have it in them.
Wow. Do you see that in your players? I do.
I could see a lot of times. I could see that quiet person that doesn't want to get in any trouble and do everything right or try to, and is actually encouraging to others, because you don't want to see, just like I told you, those are my brothers. I didn't want to see them get fussed at or get in trouble for doing the same thing or doing something wrong. So you're like, hey, you never know what your cheer may do for somebody.
But your chair?
The cheer, like just letting them know that somebody's watching you and cheering for you.
Oh, your
So
cheer.
if Jalen's getting fussed out by his coach and he hears, come on, Jalen, let's go. We got your back now, let's go. You never know what that let's go, Jalen, may mean something for somebody who's in a different mindset, you know?
Oh, see, I couldn't understand. I thought you said CHAIR, but you said cheer, like,
Oh,
give
no,
me a
cheer,
G,
yeah.
give me an O, give me a.
Just hearing your name,
Yeah.
and it's not negative to it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You were supposed to laugh.
You never know that. Huh?
You were supposed to laugh. They wouldn't let me be.
Well, do the cheer again. Do the cheer.
cheerleader.
Do the cheer for chair again.
No.
Cheer for chair. I will always remember CHAIR cheer.
Yeah. No, they were like, look, I tried so hard. I just knew that I was going to do it. I don't know what I was not doing cartwheel. I don't know what I was doing. I was like doing a wheel or something when I went for the cartwheel, but nope, I did not make the cheerleading team at all. So
I got you.
So when you decided to make the leap, because this is not like a hop, skip, jump. This is a leap. When you decided to make the leap into your dream, right? You played college football, you played arena football, you played Canadian football, you've taught, you're doing this, you're moving on a steady flow, you're walking in your major,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going in a steady flow. Somewhere along the line, something happened where it was like there's a greater fulfillment. There's a greater fulfillment.
It became a point when I was like, do I want to have that regret saying I should have? I wish I would have tried something else. Or do I want to be stuck thinking the only thing I can do is teach or be in a school setting? So I decided to try my luck. And it was perfect timing. And I guess, things were meant to be. I did my part and everything else fell into place.
What did you do? What'd you do? Did you go to try and find out what firemen do, or did you learn about that from the Police Athletic League, or did you watch one of those fireman shows on TV and say, that's me?
It's so funny that my college roommate is a Durham police officer. We
Really?
started teaching together in '98 in childcare. And when I went to the high school setting in 2005, that was his first year of being in the police academy. So it's so ironic that we have a college mom, Vivian McCoy, in Durham, North Carolina. And I said, Miss McCoy, I think I want to be a firefighter, but I don't know what to do. And she says, get your ASS on that internet and look it up like y'all do everything else. And the internet was still nice and brand new in the early 2000s. I mean, it came out in the late 90s, but you didn't know what all it would do for you. And her motivation of saying, what you waiting on? You never know. Some people are waiting on a sign. And I figured that was my sign, just for somebody saying, what are you waiting on? It's up to you. It's not up to anybody else. You have to make the first move. And a lot of people will hold themselves back with the doubt.
Isn't it amazing that when you make that first move, you all of a sudden see all the support that was all around you the whole time? Like, they're there for you, but they're there for you once you get in the lane that you're supposed to be in, or in the lane that you want to be in. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And that's one of the things I can tell you that I love about North Carolina. The support that you get once you start to get in your lane. I mean, there is nothing like it. I have met some phenomenal people here that are ride or die, true to the end.
Mm-hmm.
When you get in your lane. When you get in your lane.
Yeah.
So you made this leap. You decide to be a fireman, right? You decide you're going to be a fireman. Tell me a little bit about the fireman training versus like football camp training, and what is it most like?
You're right. You're right. You're right. And it's like nothing else that you can ever imagine. There is a physical, there is a PT part, but it's only an hour throughout the day. Now you have to get your mind right for the next day. But the biggest part was becoming a student again, because it's the academy. You have to learn the fire safety, fire service mentality, the do's and don'ts, the exponents of fire. And I had to become a student again. I had to learn how to sit on the other end of a desk and become the student again, where I had to pay attention and ask the right questions and study and get ready for a test. And it was mind-blowing and terrifying.
Does everybody pass the test?
They do, but it's so many tests. You were having 2 or 3 tests a week, let alone the physical fitness test that comes every 3 months, every 8 weeks, because the academy was 26 weeks long. So every 6 weeks we had a physical fitness test to show your improvement.
Wow.
We had 4 total. Yeah, it was mind blowing.
What would you say was the most challenging or unexpected thing from the class? I mean, from the process. Like, did you say, wow, like I'm better than I thought? Like, I didn't realize how much I had before I started this process.
Yeah, you're right about that, because you can be in your own head again. You can put the self-doubt in your mindset, but it was something about, it was the Mary Mary song, Go Get Your Blessing. That was my motivation song every day. It was brand new at that time, and I love gospel music, and it had a little hip hop beat to it. So every time I thought about doubting myself, that song would come on the radio, and I would get out my car and go and get information and have that song playing in my head. And the hardest thing was, there's a 24-inch pipe that you have to get crawled 40 feet in full gear. And I'm not a small guy. And if you think about it, my feet is 13 inches. So another 9 inches, I'm supposed to be getting my entire body in a pipe that small, which was mind blowing that I did it. And the fact that you knew that you had to do it. So it's almost like somebody tell me what to do and I have to do it. You get your mind right and you make it happen, whatever it takes.
Wow. And plus you have Vivian McCoy.
Yes, not to mention you're worried about failure. Again, when teaching that class, you're worried about, sometimes people think about, I can't let such and such down. Well, it should start within yourself. You know what I'm saying? Self is the first person you owe it to. And so it plays a big part.
So how did you switch that? How did you switch that from, the fear of letting other people down? Because you've had so many mentors in your life. I mean, you've had PAL, you've had, Long, you've had all these different people. Your college coach, you've got Vivian McCoy, you've got all these people in the stands, in the fan, in the stadium, in the fan section or whatever, cheering you on, supporting you, showing you love. I mean, that's a weight. I mean, it's great, but that's also a weight, because not only do you not want to disappoint yourself, or, you're thinking about not disappointing them. So where did the shift come in that you owe it to you?
One of my buddies said, you deserve it. And I didn't know what that means. Because I guess he's always seen me doing for others. And if you think about it, my whole working career is public service, even as a teacher. And here I am now signing up for the fire department, more public service. I think I realized it was what I was meant to do, regardless of whatever obstacle comes in front of me. It was meant for me to serve other people and make sure that they're happy if I can do something about it. I know it sounds like a nice little cliche, but it came from within that this is what you deserve. When you get over this hump, you'll be able to see the rainbow on the other side, the one that everybody talks about. Not to mention, there's a phrase called "everybody loves firefighters."
They do.
So
they do.
Yeah, so you're not going to get too many people talking bad about firefighters. And I guess that was always my mentality. I had a little bit of quietness and shy, worried about what everybody was going to think. Well, if you get in a career where everybody loves that career, you can't do nothing but make success out of it. So
well, let me say something. I was a little disappointed. Let me be transparent.
Yes.
When I was younger, I went to the firehouse, right? And
Look
they
for the
let us
pole.
slide down the, yes, they let us slide down the pole, right? And so like later on, I was always the, you know, the parent for the class trips. Like I was always the one, the parent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So my kids went to the firehouse. Oh, no, you know what else? We set up a field trip with the church. I think I took the kids at the church on this field trip, and we went to the fire station. And I was like, where's the pole? Can I slide down the pole? They're like, we don't do the poles anymore. I was like,
And you know why? You know
what?
why? I think now a
So they
lot of
don't do them
people
here
have
either?
no, they don't allow you to do it anymore because of liability now.
Okay.
You know, think about when we were coming up, nobody was worried about suing another person if something happened to them on their property.
You're right. You're right.
So now it's just a different mindset of the world today. It's a lot of some selfish mindsets. Now, don't get me wrong, the pole is awesome. And everybody deserves to be able to slide down the pole, but you do know that everybody's not coordinated to do so also.
I don't care. I want to slide.
Somebody would think that it's supposed to be just like TV and it's be nice and easy. Well, if they don't realize how high those poles can be sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, but you know, I remember they showed me, they had, you know how you have the outfit that you're going to put on, your fireman's outfit, like lined up and everything. And all you got to do is step into it and slide it on and that kind of stuff.
And pull up the suspenders, yeah.
Right. And then they were telling me how heavy it was.
75 pounds, 50 pounds, and along with the air pack is 75 total. You got 1 minute to get dressed.
Man. And everybody gets dressed in 1 minute.
Everybody got 1 minute to get dressed. That's actually a drill that you do in the academy. It's called the 1 minute drill. That means boots, pants, jacket, helmet, and mask ready to go with gloves. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Yeah.
How has that impacted your expectations of your players and readiness and all the rest?
I don't really hear the word can't. You know what I'm saying? You know, when you're younger, you get that from your parents or whatever, but it's something that actually needs to stick in everybody's mind. It's not can't. They may want you to get this done, but there's always more than one way to get it done. Like you just said earlier about staying in track and going slightly to the left. As long as your finishing point is getting it done, we'll take it. You know, we'll take it nowadays. And everybody has a story to tell, and everybody's not telling the same story, so because we didn't go take the same route.
Right. Right. And celebrate those milestones in between. You know, sometimes we just say, well, you didn't get, well, no, I'm not there yet. I'm doing a milestone. So celebrate my milestone with me. Right.
I'm on my way,
yeah. And if we celebrate this milestone, I can get to the next level and the next level and the next level, you know, and that's where, like, you know, you having the great coaches and being a great coach really and truly makes a difference, because like I said, we need people to celebrate the milestones and understand that the journey
most
is not
part.
Yes.
Not overlook the journey, yes, because in due time, everything happens in time.
Right.
It's not your time, and your time is coming. I always think about that. Nobody said no, they just said not yet.
Right. Well, sometimes I try to take that watch and spin it around a little faster. Cheat.
We all do, but you do know that that's one thing we do not have control over.
It's time.
That's one thing that's not stopping for, as they say, stopping for anyone. And they say Father Time is undefeated in sports, and it is. It's not going anywhere. It's going to keep moving, and you're going to slow down, and it's going to keep moving, and you got to grab it. Like you said, the journey is most important.
Right. So the journey. I want to ask you something. So I read one of your interviews, and you were talking about they asked you what's next. And it was when you were in arena football and you were talking about, well, I've won this and I've done this. And, you know, and I was a little bit away from this championship and a little bit away from this championship. Tell us about that. And did you ever get a championship? Don't tell me if you ever got a championship first, but just tell me a little bit about what was that where you were talking about all these things that these slight misses.
Again, you know, one thing you can do is make sure you do your part. You can't control a teammate. And you have to realize when you're in a team sport, everybody has a role to play. I can't be the quarterback, but I can sure be the wide receiver that catches it when the quarterback throws it to me. The quarterback can't be the lineman, but he can be the quarterback that catches the ball to throw the ball to the wide receiver. The lineman can't be the quarterback or the wide receiver, but the lineman can give protection to the quarterback who could throw the ball to the wide receiver, and we all score.
You sound like you just preached a sermon. Go with
Again, my senior year in college, we had a shirt made called "Count on Me." So if you know that I'm doing my part, and I'm saying I'm doing, and you're saying you're doing your part, everybody's part has a part in the success story. But you have to hold up your end.
So you still not telling about that championship story. There was something where you missed something by a half game.
You wouldn't believe that in the game, in the championship game, I actually had scored the go-ahead, as they call it, touchdown to take the lead with less than a minute to go. So now we need our teammates to play their part in the defense. And there was a slip and fall, and we gave up the touchdown that did not help me win a championship. You can do your part. Again, you can do your part, but stuff happens. Stuff happens, and it's not predictable, but you have to be ready to bounce back and find the positive out of it. So the fact that I made it to the championship game let me know that I can do it again, and you know what it takes to win a championship by watching somebody capitalize on your mistake.
Okay. And so just like they messed up, sometimes you mess up too now.
Somebody's gonna mess up in your favor. You're right. That's my whole point. As they say, nobody's perfect, and you're always striving to be, but when you do have your mistake, either be ready to learn from it or recover from it. Because they say in football and a lot of sports, the last play is over with. The next play is the most important.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
But there was once again, there was a half game where you missed a championship by a half game. And then I think you missed another championship by a half game. What were those two games where you missed?
Missed opportunities.
Right.
Missed opportunities. One was a turnover, which my quarterback threw an interception that hurt it's called being deflated. When you get deflated and you're on a roll, again, there's small room for error because everybody's at the top of their game. Mm-hmm. So any error could cause you heartache and pain. So you have to be on top of your game and hoping everybody else is where they're supposed to be. So I have had two close losses and lost them at the last part of the game too. And those got to be the worst. Losing a close game out, that's more heartbreaking than a blowout.
Who do you talk to? Who do you talk to when you lose a close game? What happens?
I talk to my younger siblings. Again, they're in military, so they know about teamwork also. Everybody has their part. And they watch me growing up playing sports. So they've seen my ups and downs, and they have seen the way it does take a toll on somebody's mindset and their positive movement. But knowing that I had somebody looking at me, I always attempted to find a positive way of looking at it, even though it didn't turn out the way you wanted to. So I had my younger siblings, and one is pretty straightforward, like, oh man, y'all lost again. Like, thank you a lot, right? And then the other one is like understanding, where he's like, yeah, y'all had it right up until, but then like I said, that one brother's just like cutthroat. So it's like, not everybody's gonna have the sympathy for you, so you gotta get your mind right and attempt to make yourself proud and them proud also. Well, and it was funny because the one who was cutthroat was there for my first championship, national championship ever. He was the one person that came to watch the game.
Wait, tell us about the championship, because I'm quite sure when you were getting close, there was probably some flashbacks, or maybe one or two flashbacks. I've been this place before, but I didn't get it. Yeah. So how did you push forward? Tell me about the championship.
Again, being an older player, I actually became a firefighter at 37 years old.
Oh, I meant to talk about that.
Huh?
I meant to talk about the Charlotte Cobras.
Yes, the Charlotte Cobras got me my first national championship. It's okay. It's a national public safety league that you wouldn't believe there's teams in all parts of the country. There's Orlando, Florida, Austin, Texas, DC, New York's FDNY and NYPD. Everybody has a team, Chicago PD, LA Enforcers. We play anybody and everybody who has a team.
And
you get a chance to do Brotherhood. Like, it's so funny because everybody's knocking their heads off during the game, but at the end of the game, we're shaking hands because we know we're going right back out there into the line of duty.
well, I
Yes,
heard
ma'am.
that it's not right back out there. I heard that you guys get like a week off of desk duty because there's some sore folks.
Well, not everybody, but you got to have a little bit of seniority. So you got to be able to schedule your vacations right, or get you some work for them. So yeah, the older you get, the more smarter you get.
Yeah,
You get a little bit smart. You get a little bit smarter with the mindset and the days after. Yeah, you're right about that. But I actually won my first national championship against the San Diego Enforcers, which is their police officer team. And they came to Charlotte, North Carolina in May of 2015. And we both were undefeated, so somebody had to lose. Somebody had to lose. And it was the best feeling to be on the top end of that instead of the bottom end, with the one person that apparently I kept letting down to be able to watch me, which is my baby brother.
wow.
To do it in front of him. He was fresh out of the military too. He had just got home in January of 2015, and the championship game was in June of 2015. So all he knew was watching me, and he came home and was able to watch me do something that that hadn't been done before.
No. How many years of playing football? And I'm talking about from PAL, from age 8. How many years of playing football to the championship? How many years did it take for you to get that championship?
Oh, I played from 8 to 24, took a year off, and went back with the rented ball. So that's 16 years. 16 plus 9 is 25 years. And again, I started back at 37 years old and played 5 more years with the Public Safety League. So that's a little about 33 years of football to get my first national championship.
Wow.
The perseverance plays a big role, and knowing that it's in you, it's up to you to get it out of you,
Yeah. Perseverance and coaches and people mentoring you and pushing you along and encouraging you.
Being in your corner, your backup, always having, as they call it, your team. Gotta have a team. Nobody does it alone.
Yeah. And winning by yourself can be tough, nobody to share it with.
Because winning by yourself, and it's even harder because if you lose by yourself, you still don't have nobody to share that with. So you have to bring somebody along with the journey. You have to actually be open to have somebody there with
you. Yeah. So I would always try to mentor people to, be there for them, but also mentor people, and they could be at complete opposite ends of the spectrum, to support one another, because I'm not going to always be there. I don't know if I'm going to be here tomorrow, but I'm just saying I'm not going to always be there. So I always tried to make sure that everybody had a support mechanism for whatever was coming up next. Do you know what I mean? And
that plays a role. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Being a mentor, you always try to stay on top of everybody else's game, because everybody's not into sports, but they could be making a power move and building the next electronic super mega robot or something. And the fact that they may be second guessing themselves, they just may need somebody's boost to say, hey, I know you did it. You right here at it, finish up strong, whatever it takes. You never know what words can be from your support team that can make a difference.
Right.
Just knowing that you have it, I think.
Right. And if you encourage somebody else, they're strong enough to encourage someone else. Right.
Yes.
So once you start to build, they also start to build.
The domino effect plays a huge part of the, as they call it, the support pyramid.
Wow. I like that. I like that. All right. I'll give you that one. Tonight. But tomorrow I'm gonna steal it and use it as my own.
Hey, it's out
put
there.
Some quotes around and put by Kelly Jones. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
KJ, you're welcome to it.
Yeah, I like that. So let me ask you this. As we move forward, as we move towards a close, if you could say that there's one thing that you wanted to share that I probably didn't bring up, and I apologize for not bringing up the Public Safety League, because I just thought that was phenomenal when I read about it. But once again, like I said, I lost my cards. I don't know what I did. I put them somewhere. But
you're making it happen, so it doesn't matter about the cards now. Now you know you can wing it and make it happen sometime.
Thank you. Thank you. So if there was something that you would say that you wanted to share that I forgot to share. Oh, one thing I did want to ask. I'm sorry. So we were talking about the fire station and policemen and all that other kind of stuff. You told me something that blew me away. You were telling me about how the firemen are actually the first one on the scenes a lot of time because there are more firemen available than there are EMTs.
EMT medics, yes, ma'am.
EMT medics. And so you were tell me a little bit about that process. When you arrive at the home, what happens? How do you do that?
Well, we're again, without being outnumbering the medics, we tend to be first to a lot of medical things. The funny thing about that is the first 5 weeks of the academy is EMT training. And
wow.
You have to be state certified to be a firefighter in the state of North Carolina. Now, if you're a firefighter, you're an EMT basic also. So you definitely know how to save a life if need be, whether it be CPR, checking blood pressures, glucose, whatever the case may be. So when we get there, we are definitely checking out the scene. We get a little bit of notes to give us the age of the person and what the general illness is, what the actual main problem is. But it's still up to us to bring that person at ease, find out some details and some facts to be able to pass along to the medic when we get there.
And so what are some of the tools that you use? Do you do the blood pressure cuff and everything?
We do the stethoscope and the blood pressure. We actually use the pulse ox, which is something we put on your finger. You probably never paid attention to it with your doctor because they ask you for a finger and then they don't even look at that anymore because it's on the screen. And it's checking your pulse rate, how many times a minute that your heart beats. And it also, some kind of magical way, it tells you how much oxygen you're taking in your body and how much, if you need oxygen. Most people are usually out of breath if they get hyperventilated or excited about something. So one of the biggest things that we do is going to give them O2 so they can calm themselves down.
Wow. So you have the oxygen mask on the truck.
Yep, we have the oxygen mask, and we have the ones that go around your ears that just goes in your nose because you may not need as much, and you just need it to calm down. So some people just know that they're getting some type of treatment tends to calm them down.
Wow. Can you tell just by looking at them that they might need oxygen, or do you need the pulse ox?
That's just like walking up, and if you were bent over or slumped over and you sat back and you took a deep breath or your eyes are rolling a little bit, you know that oxygen is most likely one of the problems, or they're changing colors. The skin complexion, along with perspiration of the skin, if they have the wet, oily skin, you never know, they may be really, what do we call it? They're extremely working hard to breathe. So you never know what's going on inside. So we listen to lung sounds, both front and back, and we can sort of tell if something's going on in there, at least having a general idea to give to the medic when they get there. And just doing that alone tends to bring down and calm down the patient.
I laugh because growing up, my mother used to use lotion and Vaseline on my face. They came up and be like, they look at the lotion and the Vaseline, I'd be glowing and say, oh, she needs some oxygen.
You're suffocating from the grease that you put on your face.
Huh?
You would be suffocating from the grease closing up your pores. You're right.
Yeah. So with that in mind, do you think that having do you think that you've saved lives? Do you think that you've?
I do, because sometimes again, if you're the one in need and you hear the sirens, what does that mean? That means help is on the way. Mm-hmm. So your mindset changes. You know what I'm saying? You can be feeling hopeless until you hear those sirens, knowing that help is on the way. So if nothing else, you see 4 people coming to help you on the fire truck. They get off, and no, they're not the ones to take you away, but they can definitely help you feel better before the people who are coming to take you away feel better. And it plays a big part in just their mindset alone.
Right. And calming them down so that when the EMTs come, they can give more accurate information and help them along the way.
Because you never, again, when something goes wrong, nowadays, people call 911 for some of the oddest stuff, and we come to the rescue because there's 4 heads to try to figure out what's going on before medic get there. Even if it's nothing medical, somebody called one day with their foot caught in the rail or something. The foot's not going anywhere, but of course, when medic get there, they were not going to have the tools to get it out. So the police don't carry tools. So that's where we come prepared, whether it be like a car wreck. Some people say, well, why do the firefighters come to the car wrecks? And I said, well, what makes the cars go? And they said, gasoline. I said, well, what would this hot gasoline turn into? A possibility of a car fire or blowing up. So now, although it may not be a big fire, a big accident bumper, but you never know what's been loose, what might be dripping up under a car that you may not know of, and you're still in it. So if it catches fire and you don't know you're still in a seatbelt, but everybody else can see it, nobody else is going to be able to do something about it but the fire department. So we'd rather be safe than sorry. We'd rather show up and be extra and not be needed than being needed and not being.
Was there ever a time, or when was the first time when you said, this is what I'm definitely supposed to do? Like I know I'm making a difference.
Hearing the appreciation again and seeing the faces of people after you come and help them out with their situation and you leave and they say something as simple as thank you. Don't know what I would have done without you. It plays a big role. Again, all of my jobs that I have had is dealing with people. So it was meant for me to do it. And just thinking about being in 3 different levels of the education field. I went from toddler 2-year-olds who learning to potty to kindergartners who thinking they can do it all, to high schoolers who think they know it all, but they still needed your help at some point in time. It plays a big part to know that you helped out somewhere.
Do you teach your players how to say thank you? Do you encourage them to say thank you?
Well, you know what's funny about that is they said there's so many different ways of saying thank you. Appreciation, the head nod, the fist bump, the pound. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, you know what they mean, the eye wink, the head nod, like all of the thank yous come in many different ways nowadays. Some throw up the power sign, like appreciate it. Some people don't even say thank you, but you can tell even the sigh in their breath that means thank you so much,
Powerful.
And some people, not everybody know how to say it. They know that they need to and want to, but again, different ways of saying it. Again, everybody's different, and it does play a part. It does play a part. When you realize that people look forward to seeing you and look forward to making you feel proud or whatever, that they accomplished something, the head nod, the handshake, the power, the fist bump plays a big part.
Yeah. Everyone is different too. And I'll tell you something, one of my students, whenever she sees me at the school, her name is T. Whenever she sees me at the school, she would, oh, Miss, and T's a big girl. Miss Jules, she jumps on me. And so one time we were at the school and we were right outside the gym, and she had just finished her gym class. You know how you switch in between classes, right?
Yes.
Well, it was before you switch between classes, because she had just finished gym. She got out early. She changed and she saw me walking down the hallway. And she's like, "Oh, Miss Jones!" And she jumped on me. And the other teachers were like, "Don't attack her. She's a teacher. Don't attack her."
Yeah, they don't
the funny
understand.
thing
Some people have a lot more love for you than the average student. And when you get that rapport, they look forward to seeing you.
Yeah.
You make their day.
Yeah.
You make their day. Little do they know that they're making your day because they appreciate you.
Yeah. So,
yes.
But the thing is, T is not as expressive with other people, or she might be expressive in a negative way. So her outburst is overwhelming to other people because they don't see that with her. You know what I mean? They don't see her respond that way. But that's her way of saying, like, I guess thank you or whatever, especially with well, yeah. Anyway, so I get kind of corny and I start to well up a little bit when I think about how awesome my students are. So
think about it. Kids bring it out of you, and it's okay when the kids bring it out of you, because that's different. That's the future, as they say. That's our future. So when they feel comfortable about somebody being around their lives, they do better. They want to prove something to them. They want to make them proud of them, and that brings, it's a stepping stone. That's that pyramid we was just talking about, the support group. And you never know, they might be able to give somebody some encouraging words because of something they remember you telling them, or even they pass your words along.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what's amazing to me is when I see kids that I work with who originally start off bullying other people, and then they walk around and start supporting or defending people. No. Because I always talk to my students. If I see somebody, just kind of mouthing off or whatever, I'm like, let's go outside and let's talk. And I just talk to them. And I say, tell me your story. Tell me what you're thinking. What would you like to see happen? How would you like for somebody to communicate with you? How can we make this work? And when I give them their opportunity to tell me what they want and how they would like me to do it, and I'm not judging.
Yes.
I say, okay. Let's see if we can do that. And then the person that they're bullying comes out and we talk and like, I see them the next time I come back and they're talking and everybody's cool in the classroom. And that is the amazing thing for me when I see that in my students, when I see that growth. And yeah. And the reason why it's so big to me is because they're so doggone transparent. Like if they don't like you, they'll let you know.
They will let you know up front, and you can't do nothing about it. But they want to be heard. Yeah. And I realize that sometimes they're so used to people barking at them that they just want to be able to be heard, like you said, without any judgment. And it plays a big role, and it opens them up and realize that everybody's not the same. Yeah. Yeah. They want to be heard. They want to laugh. They want to be appreciated. Yeah. They just want to be. It's not that complex. It's not that complex. So, well, listen, I want to ask you, which I cut you off before, and I'm so sorry because I forgot all about the. I wanted to ask you about the whole rescue thing, etc. Is there anything that you can think of that you would like to share that I have not mentioned yet? Anything else that I play a big role in as a mentoring program to nowadays. I'm a part of WEA, and that's the Washington Elite Athletics, where we bring college coaches to local kids who may not be able to get to a college campus or do not have the money to go to a camp. We provide the college coaches an opportunity to come to their home, to these kids' hometown here in Charlotte, and be able to show them their best and what they got. We have a website. It's you can contact us at weacamps.com, and you can actually call Mr. Washington, Coach Washington. DeArmond Washington is the founder and the CEO of it, and his telephone number is 980-292-0877. It plays a big part, and you never know what you can do knowing that you're being watched. Like you just said, when I was in high school, I did not know that I was being watched, but when somebody tells you that somebody's coming to see you, oh man, it's your opportunity to shine. And these kids shine, they shine. It's open for middle school and high schoolers, and we go out our way. It's a nonprofit organization. And the young man who actually is in charge, I've known him since he was 8 years old from PAL. We played on the very first football team together. And he has a twin brother who plays a big part in it also. It's awesome. It's awesome. Think about 3 people who've known themselves since they've been playing sports and doing exactly what somebody did for us and taking it a step further. Bringing college coaches to your hometown to see these local kids that may not have an opportunity to go anywhere. I take pride in being one of the assistant coaches, and I love it. Wow. You are really phenomenal. I mean, just your commitment to giving back and to uplifting and supporting and to making people be the best that they can be. I mean, you are walking in, you are living your dream. You're living your dream as a fireman, and you've lived your dream as a football player. You've lived your dream and won that championship, 33 years of persistence, commitment, going back and making it happen. You're right. And I have one. It's funny that my buddies call me Superman, and if you can see my shirt, that's the Superman symbol with the WEA sports on it. So I take pride in it. I have, you probably didn't see the hat, but that's also a Superman symbol. And within, I think you all have a Superman or Superwoman in you, and it's just somebody that got to bring it out of you. So I take pride in being somewhat special. I've been saying I was unique since I was about 12 years old.
Oh, you took that from me
We all
too.
are.
I used to say unique, but I can't say it anymore. No, just kidding.
I
All you do is
think
just take from
I
me.
think we were separated. We were separated at birth or something.
Yeah, you do. We do kind of look alike. No, just kidding.
My nose is a little bigger, but we both have the nice, pretty smiles.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I was thinking the eyebrows. I was thinking those eyebrows, might look a little, might look a little bit alike.
I have my mother and grandmother features with the dark eyebrows, long eyelashes, high cheekbones, and the wide smile. So yes, I do look like my mother and my grandmother all rolled up in one with a mustache.
Wow. Wow. That is cool too, when you can look at the pictures and see the family resemblance. So
Oh yes, the genes are strong in the Calloway family.
yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, the genes are strong, the kindness is strong, the support is strong, the familiar support, what you do for your brothers, what you do for your community, what you do for your teammates, keeping in touch with your teammates from, college and everything,
Family
keeping in
bond.
touch with your coaches. I mean, that is
Family is a big
amazing.
part to me. Family is big in my life because my grandmother, we just celebrated her 96th birthday. This lady was born in 1925, and her birthday was this past Sunday, March the 21st. So I always, people know the bond that I have with my grandmother, and I call her my inspiration, and I call my mom my motivation, because when I was younger, my mom was working 2 jobs, making ends meet, and all I had to do was do my schoolwork, stay out of trouble, and do whatever I chose to do with my sports. And it's still going. To this day, it's still going. So those 2 women are my motivation and inspiration. And I always tell people when they say, well, how you stay out of trouble? I say, because this last name is not mine. I'm just out here trying to make it better, but this is not my last name. There's a 96-year-old now who anchors that name, and I'm out to make her proud every chance I get.
I love it. Love it.
Yes.
Well, listen, Antoine Calloway, Coach Calloway, thank you so much for everything you've shared. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service as a first responder. Thank you. And we really appreciate it. We really appreciate it. Understanding, what you're doing with the smoke inhalation and the oximeter and the importance of it, understanding whether, the pulse and the oxygen saturation, everything. Thank you. Thank you for sharing insight. Thank you for sharing insight. Now, if you could just do one more thing, all the things that you're doing, I need you to go ahead and start that protest so I can slide down the pole. So I can slide down the pole at the fire station. You get that going. You get that going, and you truly be my hero, huh?
We can go one day when they just happen to be out on the call, and we can go get our slider on, and nobody will see it. Nobody notice. I can put extra cushion at the bottom, and you don't hurt yourself.
All right, and I'll wear my sneakers with the sponges.
You gotta be ready. Yeah, you gotta be ready. You gotta be dressed for it now. You gotta be dressed and ready to go down that pole.
Well, thank you so much for everything. If you were to your team, are you coaching?
I am coaching the Charlotte Thunder. We play our first game. It's an arena football team. We're playing our first game in the Bojangles Arena this Saturday night, March the 27th at 7:00 against the Pennsylvania Union, coming out of Pennsylvania, up north Pennsylvania.
How's it looking? How's it looking? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?
We stay ready. You're gonna hear the Thunder this Saturday. We're gonna make loud noise throughout the whole league. We didn't get a season last year. We got one practice in before they canceled the season last year due to Corona. So we're pretty hungry for some more action.
Are the guys ready? I know that with COVID, a lot of times people were not stretching and all that other. They're ready?
Well, this young generation, the ones who really want something out of it, had to learn to do something, the self-discipline about doing something on your own and being ready. We didn't do a lot of fussing and complaining about people not being in shape. So that's a one sign about being ready, because the arena game is pretty fast and high scoring. Yeah,
I've heard it's very exciting. Now, is this going to be televised as well, or is it?
I think it's going to be streaming, but there is a website, the charlottethunder.org is our website, and I look forward to making sure you do have a chance to watch it on the live stream. We're going to make a loud roar with the Thunder. Yes, we are.
All right now, arena football guys, for you football fans who want to see a game, who want to be a part of a game, because there are tickets available, right? You can buy.
Yeah, there are tickets available. Of course, with being in North Carolina, we have the restriction of 6 feet thing. So I think they've dropped down our capacity to 50%. So you want to get the tickets now, go online and get the tickets as fast as you can so you can be in the arena and not miss out on the action.
Wow. Wow. And just think about it. So many people were not able to go see college football. They weren't able to go see professional football. They weren't able to get, I mean, you got it out of your system a little bit with the what do you call that thing with the Super Bowl championship, but it still was not like being in an arena. And in North Carolina, we love our football. Well, we love UNC football. But anyway, but we love our football. We love our basketball. We love our sports. So this is an opportunity to get out there and actually be a part of it in a very safe, very sterile environment, because I know you guys are thoroughly cleaning the stadium.
Bojangles Arena is going pretty hard with getting the arena ready and protecting us and from ourselves, I guess you could say. Corona is still alive and well. So be safe, come ready with a mask on, and then be ready to enjoy some football.
All right, all right. Give me a G, give me an O, give me a football.
Go football. You're right about that. Charlotte Thunder all day.
All right. Well, thank you so much for everything, Coach Calloway.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. KJ.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.